got a strong army of women now in, the UK and the world that want to weightlift, that want to be strong, that see weights as now, a part of their lifestyle, a part of their routine. A part of their routine. Started, I think, from very young, without even knowing. I was into every sport on the planet. Went to loads of after school clubs, lots of extracurricular activities, and did every sport you could think of, and loved it, and didn't really care if I was good at it or not. I just really enjoyed playing sport. And that made me find my first love, which was athletics. So as a thrower, I used to throw hammer, shot and discus. And yeah, used to compete for my local club called Notts AC. And that's essentially what led me into weightlifting. So I wanted to get stronger for the shot and hammer when I went to university at Leeds Beckett. And yeah, met a coach and asked him if he could teach me the Olympic weightlifting lifts, because people said it would help me throw the shot further. So yeah, started learning the movements. It was horrible and complicated, and at first I wasn't really a massive fan of it, but I just loved the determination of going back and trying to make it better. One day you looked like you'd done it for the first time. You looked like you was really getting it and it was going well. Next time you looked like you'd never done it in your life, and it used to frustrate me and want to go back. And then before I knew it, I was really into weightlifting and realised that every time I was lifting, I was when I was the happiest. So yeah, I did the two sports for a year, and then decided to completely devote my time to weightlifting and take that seriously. And within 18 months, qualified for my first Commonwealth Games, and then I've been in the world of weightlifting ever since. And the journey's just obviously got better and better, and learned a lot of things along the way. In terms of actually the journey within weightlifting, people think there's a lot of difference between males and females. There's actually not, and females tend to pick it up a lot easier and learn the skill a lot better, because we can put our egos aside and actually learn the technique, and actually concentrate on the important things instead of thinking about doing big weights all the time, which is something men tend to do. I think it's more the changes kind of come into play between males and females as you get more successful. And again, within the weightlifting world, female weightlifting is absolutely booming, and it's fantastic, and we have immense amount of fans within the weightlifting world. I think it's just about being able to grow that further in the wider world, because obviously people still think it's a very male dominated sport, but actually within the world of weightlifting, the females are actually, especially in GB at the moment, like our women's team in terms of like rankings and where we place and come is actually a lot stronger than the men's, and we do a lot better and we're a lot more successful. So yeah, I mean, it's been a difficult journey in terms of injury, funding. We was an unfunded sport for a long time, so we had to kind of work our own way. Like in my journey in the lead up to the Olympics in Tokyo, my first Olympics, I essentially created my own team. So that's in terms of like nutrition, physio, S&C, psychology, etc. I kind of built that myself, and made sure that I had those things in place, because that wasn't provided by the national governing body, because they just didn't have the funding to do it. And even in the beginning, I had to pay for competitions to be able to go to. I've had a few surgeries in my time as well, which has just been not really impact injuries that I've got from weightlifting, but just wear and tear and just unexpected things that kind of come with being an elite sport. So that's been kind of hard to navigate. And then yeah, just the awareness of our sport, like sport in weightlifting in the UK is not a massive sport. It's not seen as football or athletics, etc. So it's been kind of up to me, with being the one in the sport that's shone the spotlight from the Olympics, to be able to deliver our sport into different areas, and make people understand our sport, and understand that what we're trying to achieve, and the message that we're trying to give out, which is weightlifting is for everyone. It's probably one of the easiest sports to get to grassroots level, even though it is probably one of the hardest sports to do at an elite level. So yeah, it's the complete contrast, but it's just giving people the right education to understand that. the advice I would give to my younger self would definitely be believe in the process, because I think, especially with, I mean, I think this goes for all sport, but especially in weightlifting, it's about building brick by brick. So in the beginning, you might feel like, it's not going to work, or you're not where you want to be, or you're not achieving the things that you want to be. But that is all foundation work for getting you where you need to be. So I think it's just about being patient and believing in the journey. And I think I would also say to young people as well, try as many sports as possible. If weightlifting is what you want to finish with and what you're in love with and what you want to continue doing, then that's fantastic. But I also think you learn a lot of skills and things that are transferable from other sports. Like I said, I did, football, basketball, swimming, trampolining, everything when I was a lot younger. And I do think that that's now helped me in my career in weightlifting. So I think go out, socialize, make your friends, learn things from different people, enjoy the art of all the different things you get from different sports. And then obviously as you get a little bit older, if you feel like that's what you want to specialize in, then I think you'll definitely know as well, decision in your heart, that that's the thing for you. Yeah, most definitely. It's something I've been passionate about even before I, had a voice, and people would listen to the things that I'd say. And I think it's just more of my personal experiences that I've been through. Just for example, things with like gym kit, not being able to find nice gym kit that fits, and being able to, be represented in brands. I think there was a stat that said, 50% of women would be more comfortable if they saw themselves represented in bigger brands, in media and billboards, etc. Because for a very long time we've seen a certain type of woman being portrayed as the face of fitness, and that if you don't look like that, you don't fit in. And I do feel like sometimes the fitness world has been made to feel like it's a really inclusive space, where it's not. And the more I spoke about it, the more I realized how much of an issue it was. And it wasn't just affecting me, it was affecting lots and lots of women across the UK and across the world. I get messages from the world, from the States, etc., saying that they feel the same way, and they feel like there's not a market for them to be able to be active, which is obviously a really sad thing. So the more I realized that, the more mission for me was to keep speaking about things, partnering with brands that believed and had the same vision as me, so I could get that vision and that voice wider. And yeah, just really working hard to try and also be what I speak about as well, because it's all very easy to be able to speak about all the things that you are passionate about and you want to achieve, but are you actually doing that? So even with the brands that I work with, they'd have to be they have to be cohesive with the things that I'm saying, and they have to represent what I'm saying. I'm not just going to say one thing and then go and work with a brand. I've had brands offer to work with me before, and they don't do my size, but they've said they'll make it especially for me, but I've said I don't want to work with them, and unless they are willing to sell the size that I'm promoting, because I just think that it's not okay. So yeah, it's been a journey. It's definitely a journey that's going to be ongoing. And yeah, the more I get into spaces, the more I realize about the way that it works, and marketing, and challenging brands on the decisions that they make. But yeah, it's definitely a marathon, not a sprint. It looks bright. It looks really bright. It's fantastic. I mean, in the UK, we've got some fantastic females coming up through the system, that are lifting, and I think we've got a strong army of women now in the UK and the world that want to weightlift, that want to be strong, that see weights as now a part of their lifestyle, a part of their routine, and are promoting it a lot more through the art of social media. We know our kids and our young people are influenced a lot through social media. So as long as the right messages are coming out and weights are being encouraged to lift, that they are safe and that it's okay to do it, and it's actually really good for the mind, the body, and everything else that comes with it. I think it's a fantastic space, and I think the more girls we get lifting, the more the message will get pushed, and the more it will go out. And I think the more that people see that it's also quite a glamorous sport as well. If people watch weightlifting, they'll watch the girls that compete in weightlifting. You've got some girls that are clean and jerking double body weight with sparkles in their hair and their makeup done immaculately, and looking like they're having a fantastic time and really enjoying themselves while they're doing it. So I think it's an amazing space to be in right now, and it's definitely growing. And I hope that more and more young girls are inspired to be beautiful and strong. hope people see that, I had a very humble journey. I was a girl from a very deprived area in Nottingham that, just stuck to her goals, had a fantastic, family network around me that showed me that I could achieve whatever I wanted to if I put my mind to it. And I went on to do some pretty cool things. And I hope that people see that it is a journey and it takes hard work, it takes time, it takes dedication, but also that I enjoy and I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do, and that I would love to give back eventually, and be able to create, a space, a gym for everybody across the UK to be able to come and access and feel that they can be safe within fitness, and also within our young people as well, teaching them properly. And yeah, just hope that people see that, with hard work and determination, that you can achieve anything you put your mind to. I used to work in SEN education, so if that's for young people with behavioural difficulties, and we used to have all sorts of, issues throughout the day. They used to kind of run off. Some of them were quite violent sometimes. And we used to have a boxing coach come in, and he would do an hour session with our young people, and they would misbehave all day long. They would go in boxing, and it was like some trance would come over them, and they would, be engaging, listening, following instructions, have a fantastic time, be really positive. I even had times where they would open up and they would talk about things that sometimes it was like blood out of a stone trying to get out of them. And it just really honed in for me that the importance of physical activity and discipline and structure. And I realised that weightlifting could give that same structure too. Being able to concentrate and learn a skill and hone in and feel like you're really good at something, and that's kind of where the idea was born. So originally I wanted to be able to take a 6-week program into schools, just like the one I worked in, and then be able to expand into other schools as well, where it would teach weightlifting, the progression of weightlifting, and allow young people to be able to learn. But then I came to the conclusion that if I'm going into all these schools and inspiring these kids with this weightlifting and giving them the skill to be able to do that, then where do they come if they want to continue that? And that's when the idea of the gym was born, to be able to have that space that young people can come and learn. And, young people come one day and they'll, especially kids, one day they'll love it and they'll want to do weightlifting, and the other day they'll realize that they hate it and they don't want to do it anymore. So I want to be able to provide a space that even though if they feel like that, they can come in, they can be safe and do something physical and active, and being able to be aware of their body and how it moves, and being aware of all those things that I think is really important in young people, and that physical literacy, being able to grow up. So that's where kind of the idea of that came from. So hopefully I'll be able to create a space that can emulate all those things. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, the dream would be to be able to set the gym up, have it running so well that if a kid walks in my gym, I can give them a pair of weightlifting boots and a pair of leggings and a top, and get them to go in and crack on and not worry about anything. And I want the gym to be an accessible place where public transport can access it, or they can walk there. It's not going to be somewhere that relies on parents dropping them off, and just a space that feels like it's for the community, to help the community, the community that I grew up in, to be able to kind of give back to that. And it's not about creating the next Olympic medalist or whatever. That would be fantastic if I had one of those come in the gym, and I would do my utmost best to give them the support that they need. But it's just more about getting kids into the system and learning to love fitness, and to for it to be a part of their life growing up.